Hello, everybody. I'm El Werfy, and today I think I found the perfect apology video. No, like seriously, no BS, no clickbait. I really do think I found a really good apology video, and I'm surprised where it's coming from. Obviously, from the title of the video and the thumbnail, you know what it is. No point in sugarcoating it. This guy, Jake, sorry, played already a little bit. He made an apology video that I think hits every single nail in the coffin. This is an example, in my opinion, of a perfect apology. Again, I'm not judging who this guy is. Again, I don't watch his stuff. The point of this video that I'm making right now is to go through the apology, talk about it, and explain why I think this might be one of the best apology videos I've ever seen. And apology videos are really hard to make on YouTube because everyone wants to nitpick every little thing, and we're going to go through and nitpick this video as well, but this was a really good apology, and I'm really impressed by it. So, without further ado, let's get into it, guys.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to come on here and address the most recent video that I made. In that video, I spoke
Right from the beginning, he gets straight to the point. He just says what he's addressing. He doesn't beat around the bush. He doesn't try and delay anything. He gets straight into the point. Immediately the first good point in my book.
about a topic that's extremely sensitive to me, which, to be honest, was my first mistake.
He immediately admits fault in admitting that he, made a mistake right off the bat by picking a topic that probably wasn't something that he should be talking about in terms of his comfort level for him knowing himself. Really good.
I let my emotions dictate my actions, and that led to a tone that was confrontational and aggressive.
Okay, so he admits that his emotional outburst and his behavior was not very tasteful and that it wasn't really an appropriate source for him to draw his inspiration for making his video. So again, he's admitting fault and he's taking responsibility for his own feelings and actions. I think that's huge. Really, I think that's a really good place to start out with an apology.
My intention was to stand up for a specific group of people, but instead I came across as an asshole.
Again, he admits fault that while he was trying to do the right thing, he admitted he's come across as, not a nice person. He came off as the bad guy. Again, constantly admitting fault, admitting mistake. I think that's huge, and that's something that other YouTubers don't do, or they try and beat around the bush. They're like, oh, I'm sorry you guys feel bad. No, he's admitting that he screwed up. That's awesome. I'm telling you guys, this is a great apology video. I've always tried to think of ways to give good examples. I finally found a good example of a good apology video, and I think it's really well done.
Didn't consider how my words would affect others, and for that I'm very sorry.
He apologizes for the fact that in his, remember it was months of planning, that in his script writing, he wasn't, very forthcoming about his own, feelings, and he wrote the script in such a way that upset other people, and he admitted that was wrong too. So he's admitting his words were wrong, he's admitting his actions were wrong, he's admitting his emotions that the whole video with the controversy with H3H3 came from was wrong. I think we've covered everything already, but there's more to the video.
I've also come to realize that no amount of explanation can undo the impact of that video.
That's not as important to include because everyone already knows this, but it's a nice touch. I'd say that's neutral for me. Neutral on that particular line.
And so for the discomfort or hurt that it caused, I also apologize.
And he apologized again. Again, repeated apologizing in a very straightforward, regular way. Again, no beating around the bush. And he apologizes for something that I'd argue is neutral. But, he still admitted that he didn't like it. And he's now almost apologizing more than he needs to. So I think that shows a huge amount of maturity and a huge amount of respect that I think should be, taken into consideration as to whether or not we forgive him. Now, remember, forgiveness doesn't necessarily come from the audience. Right now, for me at least, the forgiveness would need to come from Ethan and the H3 team. That's really important to understand. Obviously, if his audience chooses to forgive him, that's up to them and each of your guys' own individual opinions. But again, I'm so far really impressed still with this apology video.
I recognize that my reaction was partly fueled by my own experiences. With my nonprofit, I frequently read applications of people who are in the most terrible situations possible, and hearing someone talk about health in that way really bothered me.
So he admits that he's having trouble with the way that he had assumed that the medical health that Ethan was discussing had been going, and he admits that he's just accepting the fact that, you know, he took his own personal experience and projected it onto someone else. And that's hard to admit, actually. That's a really good thing to pick up on, is the fact that he, as the one who made the bad video, he was able to acknowledge and see the fact that he actually was projecting his own emotions and his own feelings onto someone else. And we'll get more to this in a second.
But that didn't mean that I needed to post a dedicated video that just turned out to be me ranting about my own frustrations.
And it sucks that he didn't catch that sooner. That is something that arguably, you know, people might comment and be like, well, why didn't you catch it sooner? People were even commenting on his upcoming trailer, hey, don't do this. He was even contacted by the H3 team of be like, hey, you don't want to post this. This is coming from a bad place. He didn't listen to that. So obviously there is still, you know, there was time for him to kind of roll this back, and he didn't. So again, he's admitting that, again, kind of the same stuff over again. He's understanding that it wasn't a very good idea.
I also realized that I shouldn't have posted the video if I can't handle people looking into my health history and claiming that chronic Lyme doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. You have to remember, and I think something that people tend to forget once they become a big content creator is that you're open to scrutiny. I mean, hell, you guys can criticize me. You know, anything you post on the internet, it's public, it stays there forever, it never goes away. You know, that's something my parents always told me, actually, is that, hey, if you post anything on the internet, you better make sure that you're okay with, you know, anybody seeing it. And so far, I've been pretty happy with everything I've posted online. But clearly, sometimes, like in this case, maybe you're not feeling comfortable, you know, or maybe you made a mistake with something you post online. And, you know, he's admitted that, you know, he's able to accept the fact, and I guess now he's kind of, I guess, been awoken a little bit, you could say, to the fact that, yeah, people can criticize you. It's the internet. Everyone has a right to voice their own opinions, and really good stuff. Yeah.
I also sincerely want to apologize to Ethan for not considering his health anxiety. I took it as a completely different thing, and that only fueled my anger in the process.
Yeah, so he also directly apologizes to Ethan, right? Because remember how with the stuff with Caitlyn, where she had made her moderator feel really bad? Well, we never got a public apology from her to him. She claims she did it in private, but technically, if it's so easy for her to apologize, she could have just apologized in public, but she didn't want to admit fault on camera. However, Jake here, he's straight up just apologizing to Ethan, and again, by apologizing to Ethan directly, he is letting us know that, hey, he is taking full responsibility for what he did, and he, to me at least, from my understanding of the video, it feels like he's certainly taking time to reflect and think about the situation, and I think, to me at least, this shows improvement, growth, maturity, all the stuff you would look for if any apology was coming from anyone who did anything wrong. To me, so far, based on what we've seen in the video, I'm really happy with it. I really do think this is really well done. Again, I don't know personally. Again, I really don't have any bias here. I've always wanted to find an apology video that's actually good, and I was surprised that this video so far has been a really good apology. It's hitting everything on squarely, right where I want it to be in terms of what components create a good apology video. And so far, this video's done it.
Understand that looking at an irregular blood test is extremely concerning, and I shouldn't have commented on that.
He admits that he shouldn't have been making judgments on someone else's medical information. It's pretty plain. He just apologizes and admits fault again. Again, constantly admitting fault, constantly accepting blame and accepting the fact that he made a mistake. That's huge. That's really, really huge. I really honestly have to commend that. That is awesome.
Been born into health issues, I was numb to how startling it can be to be an adult and look at a blood test that doesn't seem right. Also, as a viewer, I can absolutely acknowledge that I reached out to them to try to work for them or ask for collaborations with crew members. But in no way did them not hiring me fuel this video.
I think I can believe that. This is the part where you kind of have to be a little bit skeptical. Do I completely believe that? I don't know yet, but I could very well see that if this is just someone you look up to and you're trying to work for them, it would make sense to possibly conclude that this is something done out of revenge. But based on the video that he made and the fact that while poorly informed. He seemed very much so to have his video focus on the health aspect itself and not necessarily about like employment. You know what I mean? Like it didn't. I at least didn't feel the original video was about his employment specifically. But again, this is up for speculation. He could very well have just lied to us right there and been like, but we have no way of knowing. But because of the fact that he's already shown evidence that he's willing to admit fault and accept responsibility and apologize for the emotional harm, any possible physical harm that might have been caused, like panic attack or anything, the fact that he apologized to Ethan directly and to the team, to me, I'm willing to believe him at his word right now. And I honestly think that he is, he's being honest about that. For me, at least. That's how I felt.
I've been trying to work for them through like a job or internship since I was 16 years old. I did not make a video 6 years later as a way to get back at them. My girlfriend.
So he confirms what I just said. That wasn't his intention. I personally am able to believe it, not because of that one line alone, but because of, in the video, we've already previously seen him accepting responsibility. Again, just like I just said.
And I are very, very grateful for the opportunity that I was given to be a full-time content creator. Lastly, there's a lot of speculation about my nonprofit Never Stop, so I thought that I would just address those as well.
I like that he is addressing something that is not related to the apology as well, because even though it might not seem related to you guys, it actually is. Because in the response video from Ethan, they do actually mention the legitimacy of his charity. Even in my previous video, I talked about the legitimacy of it because it seemed fishy, it seemed odd, but we didn't have any concrete evidence. I was just showing off the webpage itself and showing how there was really poor labeling in how much of a portion of the profits go to a charity versus how much he collects. So I think it's cool that he's willing to address that, even though technically he did not have to. So again, points there.
Clothing brand started in 2017, like selling things to family and friends. And then in 2022, when I got a platform, I decided to give 10% of all profits to people in need. And then there was such an overwhelming amount of need for donations that I decided in 2023 to turn it into an official nonprofit so that people's donations would be tax deductible. Since Never Stop is
and that's good. It's good if you're going to do a charity to make sure that the government isn't taxing it, so that way more donation money can go to the people who need it rather than going to the government. So nothing wrong with that. He's just explaining what it took to set up the charity. So that's fine. He hasn't yet addressed the poor labeling, but we'll see if he gets to that.
New and small organization. I pay all the startup fees so that the donations can go to people who need them. And I do hope that someday Never Stop can sustain itself, but it's just not there yet.
Yeah, and that's completely fair. It's fine to admit that. He didn't address the labeling, the poor labeling of his products, but maybe that point that I made in my video isn't as important as the points other content creators are making about him. I'm not the only one talking about the situation, so it's possible he's not going to bring it up. And you know what? That's okay. If the only thing we walk away with here is that he has poor labeling on his stuff, honestly, I think I can live with that. I don't know about you guys, but if that's the only thing that's missing, while I don't like it, I can move on, right? You know what I mean? Like I can live my life without dwelling on it.
Totally honest, picking one person a month to give a few $100s to is sometimes awful. I want to be.
So it's his own. So with that statement, he's pretty much just saying that he is giving the money out himself. So that does tell me he is touching the money. So this isn't something that like is in a separate account, So to be clear, which is better than the completionist, by the way, he's admitting that he's touching the money and the fact that he's giving out the money. So it makes sense why he'd be so concerned about making it tax deductible. That way he doesn't have to pay as much taxes when he collects it, so that way more money can be given out. So that's very cool. Again, I don't know his exact numbers. I'm not trying to be like Mudahar or Carl and like get a full IRS audit. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm just saying I think it's cool that he's being open about how his charity works and he's explaining that. And it is important to address, in my opinion, in the video.
Be able to do more, and right now I can't. In closing, I want to reiterate my apology to everyone affected by this video.
And again, he apologizes to everybody, to Ethan, to the crew, and to the audience, people who have been watching and following what's going on. Really great. Again, doubling down on his apologies. I'm telling you, this guy, to me at least, the way he's communicating, the way he's planned it out, if he's reading off a script or not, I don't know. he seems sincere, and he seems like he's hitting every point that I would want him to hit in an apology video. I mean, again, whether you like him or not, you have to admit this is a good apology. Like, guys, as much as we like to comment and like dogpile on people, like if someone does a good job, we need to reward that. We need to be fair and honest in our critiques and be able to accept that, hey, he's admitting fault, and honestly, I'm satisfied with that. I really am.
Tone was inappropriate and scummy, and that does not reflect the values that I wish to embody as a content creator.
Sure. I mean, this is a speculation at this point as to whether or not we can believe that to be true or not. But if you've believed everything previously, I could see you believing this. Time will tell on this one. We'll just have to see what his next videos are like, doing some follow-up if needed. But I mean, as long as he doesn't do anything crazy like he just did, I think it's going to be okay. Like, if he keeps his focus on his charity and trying to do good things to spread awareness and to get people to donate, then honestly, I think that's okay. That's fine. But again, this is a statement we have to be careful about. Let's take it at face value right now, but we'll see if this proves itself to be true or not.
I've taken this as a learning experience, and I will commit to never repeating this mistake. From now
Same thing as I just previously said. We'll just see how that plays out.
on, I'm going to refocus my efforts on the content that brought you to my channel in the first place. Your support means the world to me, and I appreciate every single one of you. And I thank you for your understanding during this time where I try to learn and grow from this experience. Thank you.
Yeah, and he just wraps it up again, apologizing. I mean, I really think that this is like a solid. This is a solid video. This is how you apologize. He's covered everything that I wanted him to cover, mostly. He didn't talk about his poor labeling, but honestly, I can forgive that. Because of how well he did. I mean, what do you want, right? Like, truly, what do you guys want? Okay? I'm not here to defend him specifically as a person. I'm just here to defend the apology and the video itself. Because remember, as small content creators, it's hard to find apologies that are actually good, so that way you can use an example of what to do to apologize. And I think this is it. I mean, I don't know. Feel free to leave comments below. This is a crucial video. Please leave your comments below. I really want to know what you guys think of this apology. I want to know if you guys agree with my response. I mean, hey, maybe I'm being too forgiving. I mean, maybe it's because I'm looking for certain things in an apology video that he just happened to hit. I mean, maybe he's sneaking around something, or I've missed a topic entirely. But really, I think this is really good. I mean, like, I don't, besides the admitting that his labeling was poor, I can't think of anything else that's missing. He apologized to Ethan. He apologized to the audience. He apologized about his own behavior. He apologized about where his video came from. He apologized for not being receptive to his audience. I don't know. It just seems perfect to me. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. As always, definitely help watch more videos of mine. It really does help a lot. We're really close to monetization. As I record this, we only need like 25 hours left in order to be monetized. So we're super close. We're almost there. One more push and we'll probably get there. And I'm going to make a big announcement video probably when and if we ever actually hit it. So thank you. As always, I'm El Werfy, and I will definitely see you all next time. Take care, everyone.